our next guest, right, is this brother I've known, man. This brother is like he's dear to my heart, man. This was a real street dude, but he changed his life after he was incarcerated, and he went through a lot of trauma and stuff like that. But the thing is, he has a documentary called Killing Beef. It was on Revolt TV. This guy, listen, this guy's a jack of all trades. Also, I'm gonna just put that like that. But so I seen this man during COVID become a dentist, a barber, a physical trainer, a speaker, and world of trades. I don't know what COVID brought the best of. And the one thing I give it to him, the man stayed slim through the whole COVID. I don't gain weight. This man don't look slim, and he older than me. I don't know how he doing it, man. But I love this. I love this good brother. And one thing with him, he goes around talking to young people how to stop this beef and stuff like that. You know, and the senseless murder. With that said, producer Jamie, can you please bring in my brother Samson Styles?
Introduction.
Hey, how you doing?
What's good, Sam?
What's on?
What's on, Samson, man? Nah, Samson, you're a jack of all trades, brother, for real, man. Like I seen this brother in his wife's mouth cleaning it out and everything because he couldn't get to the dentist. And this guy, and he kills beef.
He's saving money. He's saving dollars. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's saving dollars. I hear that.
That too. Devin got to save that money, man.
Yeah.
You know, Samson, man, you know, over the last this year and also like we've seen a lot of senseless murders. We've seen Pop Smoke killed so young. We just saw this young brother just got set up, I think in Texas something. I'm losing track of his mind right now. My mind. We seen the brother XXXX get murdered. We seen a lot of young dudes get murdered, but also over this senseless, to me, beefs. And you have a story to tell. And I just want to give a little background on your story, how you and your boy Smoke, if you could let the people know, and then we could go into what you think about what's going on with these young brothers now.
Well, you know, I was in the streets. I was a jack of all trades in the streets too. I, you know, was a stick-up dude. Also sold drugs and just everything except steal cars. You know, so I was in a situation that I had gotten shot up. It was repercussion from a dude I had stuck up and tied up and left in his house. So some repercussions that came from that, and I almost died. And one of the people that shot me, it was two of them that shot me that day. When we finally got together 20 years later, I decided that we needed to squash that beef and talk to these kids because I was already talking to them already. By this time, I'm at BET. I was a correspondent, so I'm on TV, I'm on the air, and I have a good persona to keep up and a message that was strong. And the kids was looking at me to show them another way. I wasn't a basketball player. I wasn't, in the sports. I wasn't a rapper. I came home from prison, became a journalist, and wound up on a national network. And
award-winning journalist.
Award-winning journalist.
Man, that's a story right there, brother. That's beautiful, man.
So, I always was going to alternative to incarceration programs and also to maximum security programs where facilities where juveniles were, and just, giving them some good talk, man. Let them know I've been there. Because I did juvenile time. I did 18 months coming up as a juvenile. I started my life of crime at 11, finished it at 36, so most of my life, that's all I knew. But, changed it around and was giving these kids, man, like some inspiration and motivation to let them know, that you could be other things, man, that street is going to be, it's only two ways you're going to end up, and that's in jail or in prison. In prison or dead, Mm-hmm. And so when the dude came home from jail, one of the dudes that shot me, to make a long story short, not to give the documentary away, but we wound up teaming up and talking to these juveniles together without letting them know that he was the one that shot me. And it's real interesting, man. We got to film it. We filmed a couple of the locations. It's hard to get clearance to film in all the young prisons with the juveniles and stuff. You have to go through maybe 6 months of processing to be able to make sure you can bring in cameras and put these kids on TV, or on the camera. But it was very effective, man. And that's the thing that matters, is that, you know, they took something away from it. I was going to 106 in Park to go film something one day, and there was a long line of the kids out there. And one of the kids, when I was walking in, he was like, yo, Samson. So, I looked, hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? He said, nah, you don't remember me, man, but I was in Goshen Detention Center when you came through and spoke. And that's for y'all that don't know, that's the maximum security for juveniles. Some of them in there have like 5 to life sentences. As soon as they turn 21, they go into the adult prison, So he said, yo, man, when you came through, man, after speaking to us, I got into some beef. And I thought about what you said, man, and I just was like, you know what, this ain't even worth it, man, because I got to get home. And I was like, if we did that for that one person, man, it served its purpose.
Oh, yeah.
So, this documentary is more than just talking about the causes and effects and solutions to gun violence. It's also getting historical about how gun violence started in our Black communities and how it's not social, it's not a race thing, that it's a socioeconomic issue. And that when the white people and immigrants, like Irish immigrants, Italian immigrants, Jewish immigrants, occupied these same communities that we occupy now, because when we say, oh, those are our communities, why don't we take back our community? I always say, man, it was never ours to begin with. You know what I'm saying? These communities was ran by the Jews who own most of the property and stuff now. It never left. The Italians and the Irish and people that were there before we migrated from, the Great Migration and migrating from the South to these northern cities because we were being oppressed. And once we got there, white flight happened and the government helped subsidize these white people to move into the suburbs and then left us with the crumbs to deal with, So we break down all of that within the documentary as well, so that people get their history lesson and they know that, this is bigger than this individual gun violence, Black on Black crime or whatever, which I don't like to say, because most of the crime that happens within any community is of the people of that same race. Right. If you go to any Chinatown, guess what? Most of the people that get harmed in China is from Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people that get, this familiarity that causes this violence to perpetrate.
Most crime is a crime of proximity. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So, we break all that down in the doc too. So it's a teaching tool. Rutgers University, the governor, Phil Murphy, he adopted our documentary to be part of a teaching tool for his Center for Gun Violence Research, and it's headed by Rutgers University. So it's we just got another deal with it. Our deal with Revolt is about to end now in December, but we have a new deal with Citagine Distributing, which is going to be a global distribution deal. So we working the ends out of that now, and it just pays to do the right thing, man. It really does. It sounds cliche, but I done did the wrong things long enough, man. And I see doing the right things. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, Samson, and I know this question may get asked. Do you think the war is winnable?
If the war on poverty is winnable, you know what I'm saying? Because if you look at Black communities that's prosperous, right? Middle class, upper middle class, or whatever, the violence is low, man. The crime is low. What breeds this is lack of resources, man, lack of money, lack of opportunity. And to keep it real too, it's also the mindset of the community, right? Give you an example. I put up a post the other day from an old, I used to do music and stuff too from back in the days, and I put up something. I had a song that was called, Where I Come From, and I said, Brooklyn, born and raised, been real since the days of Pumas and flare raids, pink houses, to the Brownsville PJs with pissy elevators and dirty hallways. And that's an actual fact, right? I mean, you go in the elevator, not saying all the time, but why is there piss in the middle of the elevator, man? Why you got to step over? Like, all right, you live in a condition, which I was also a part of that at one time, too. I'm not trying to act like I'm holier than thou or better than, but it's like, what's the mindset that perpetuates this type of activity that make you care less about where you have to lay your head at? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it's not also, the how society has us, and as far as the ostracism and stuff that society placed on us and how they redline us into one square box. But hey, we can make that square box home, man, and make it peaceful and make it loving, you know. So it's the mindset that we have also, you know, and most of that is because miserable people, man, they know how to spread misery, man, you know, and if we broke and, you know, we don't see no way out, and you take a little bit of bread and put it in this community where there's no bread, cats are going to fight over that bread, you know, for the crumbs. And then when there's no crumbs left, we're looking at each other, ready to eat each other. And that's just the law of nature. And that's what's being, so as far as to break that cycle, man, we need resources. We need a redistributing of direction as far as energy and how we, you know, perceive things in the hood, you know, and it's going to be a lot of work, and a lot of work has to be done by the black men, because it's the young black boys, it's young black men that's killing each other.
Absolutely.
No argument there, brother. You know, no argument there. You said something though that was interesting. You said that you were talking about we live in the areas that was once owned by Jews or Italians and everything. So do you think that maybe it's maybe a lot of our I guess you want to say psychosis almost is pushed towards us needing a place to belong, but not really rectifying it with the fact that where we actually stay was always meant to be a temporary place. You know what I mean? Right. So maybe it's not a thing where we rail against gentrification, but maybe we were never meant to stay in that area in the first place. We were always meant to move on to something better in mass. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if some of the things that we're bumping up against has to do with that previous reality in terms of like what other people and cultures have had to deal with. You know? So
see. I look at it a few ways, right? One thing that I didn't hit on is that these neighborhoods, right? Give Brownsville, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. Brownsville is like a 1 square, it's like 1 square mile radius, and when it was back in the 40s and 30s, and you know, first immigrants and stuff started coming over, right? Brownsville was mainly occupied by Jews and Italians, right? They were very poor. It was very poor living conditions. This is before World War II, right? Very poor living conditions. And even after World War II, it was, you know, they were still suffering real bad. And guess what Brownsville was known for? Being a murderous slum. Just like it is now. There wasn't no blacks there.
Right.
Murder Inc. Where you know, Murder Inc., where Al Capone used to hang out in Brownsville. Right. I mean, they developed a corporation, Murder Incorporated. We do hits for hire. That's how much, you know, resources were not in that area right there. So they were very poor, and they did whatever to get up out of there. Guess what's Brownsville known for now? The same thing. So that's why, like, even when some white people try to, why did y'all kill each other when y'all was in that situation? Don't try to skip it to the 80s and 90s. Let's talk about the 20s, 30s, what y'all was doing to each other.
Mm-hmm. Excellent point.
And why was you doing it? Why was you doing it? Okay, that's the same reason why my people are doing what they're doing now. What's supposed to change? And see, and the government was so, you know, the government was so dirty and play such a part. So that's why they say, you know, how can you love so much, like the love-hate relationship that blacks have with our government is for the simple fact, one of the reasons is like this simple fact right here. You never was protecting us. You was always about oppressing us. That was the law. They had lynching laws and things of this nature. Jim Crow, like this was the law to oppress us and to keep us boxed out. You know what I'm saying? So then after the war, we fought World War II, and you know, we fought the Germans just as hard as anybody else. We come back here, they passed the GI Bill, they have all these programs, and guess who was X'd out again? Yep. These same veterans, these same black people. Oh no, you're not moving into our neighborhood. So they help subsidize the move from white flight, these white people to move to the suburb areas. The government helped that. The government blocked us off on no, we giving GI loans, but not to y'all right here. We giving it to them. So we were still marginalized. And then we put in this box, and then they asked, why are you guys acting like that? Like, come on, you know, it's like, what type of game you playing? Like, I see what you playing. So what this documentary does, it explains all of that. And it's not it's not me talking about Brownsville and the historical contents of Brownsville. I got a Jewish historian. Okay, you tell him what Brownsville was. And he gave it up raw. This is what it was. This is how it was. And this is what happened. These are the opportunities that was available to us that's not available to you. One thing we didn't talk about in the documentary, now if you look at old pictures in Brownsville when black people started coming over there, the Jews and the blacks was like this. Now you gotta realize those signs back in the Jim Crow, it said no niggas first, second, no Jews allowed, third, no dogs. So the Jews were put right in, almost in the category right up under us. Back then in the census count used to say, are you black? Are you white? Are you Jewish? They had their own section so that they could practice their being discriminatory, their discriminatory practices, right? So now look at how smooth they did this. They removed the Jewish from the section. Now they made the Jewish white. You white, you like us. So now what happens? He ain't cool with you no more. I'm white.
Right.
This is strategically placed, man. Because if you look at even the Jim Crow movements, most of the movements of the civil rights, they were led by Jewish. The Jewish people was the professors in their HBCUs. They came from Germany and wherever where they were being ostracized at and cast out, and they couldn't come teach in no white university. The whites didn't even want them there. They came and taught us. So, you know, you got to know your history and really look at things and see why is it like it is. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, our documentary, we don't touch on that, but I do know that when the Jewish became white. You know what I'm saying? And then now if you look at it, they go, you Spanish? Are you white Spanish?
Yep.
Or black Spanish? So now they got white Spanish, that light-skinned Spanish people, I'm white. I'm better than you. This is more division, and it's more division to keep us marginalized as a black people. And you know, you just have to realize that, and not to just be black and white, because the society and the system sets this up to brainwash people, man. It's like how we go from, I could show you old pictures in Brownsville. You see Jewish kids and black kids and some Italians rocking out, playing, going swimming, you know, in the hood. And then once they let them know, no, you better than them, slide off. So they were able to integrate because of this. This is something we cannot hide. We can't integrate this. So when they were able to go and get chances, or a Jewish man could say, he could change his name from Leowitz, Leowitz or whatever, to Lee. Now he's not even Jew. He's not. You don't know what he is.
Right.
We can do that. We could change our name to whatever. We black. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So I don't like to make excuses, because like I said, I'm a man that did 7 years in prison. The streets was all I know. I had no college education. Everything I learned was from the streets or reading on my own or when I was in prison, and no college education. And, you know, I make 6 digits a year legally, right? So I'm not into making any excuses. I don't make any excuses. I'm like, yo, if I could do it, there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't want no help. I'm not feeling like, yo, just give me a handout. But just don't bother me, man. Don't block me from doing what I gotta do.
Yeah, and
you know, everything against me, but just let me do what I gotta do.
And we saw how history played out this year with you said that like they make us make some of us as a brown skin feel that have a lighter brown skin to feel more white, because we saw how the Cubans reacted in the elections compared to our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, or compared to our Dominican brothers and sisters, compared to our Mexican brothers and sisters. So they pick and choose, and history does repeat itself throughout time. Like, you know, when you had first white people that not enslaved white people, you know, they was they had to be servitude to the, and they make sense. As soon as they give them power, like, no, we want y'all to look over, be the overseer of those niggas, those blacks. You know what I'm saying? So the history always repeats itself. And when you said that with the historical black college part, when I was going to school in the early '90s in college, most of the Muslims and Arab speaking professors were in more historical black colleges because a lot of white institutions wouldn't let them teach. You know, so history always repeats itself. But Samson, real quick, I want to ask you a question. What do you think with some of the young brothers out here now? When you got like the like Pop Smoke, I hear his music, I'm like, damn, that brother had a lot of talent. He was on his way. He's big now, but it's sad that he don't get to see the fruits of his labor. What do you tell the young brothers now that's in this hip hop thing, with this whole thing about I got to be tough with this gun stuff and all this other stuff? What would you say to them before, if you know they was into a beef with another MC or another person in the street? What would you tell them?
Well, you know, we talk about briefly that in the doc too, but the thing, first of all, you have to understand the mentality, right, of the streets. And what happens is a lot of times these cats, they come from the streets and then get into this legal arena, rap, and they don't know how to differentiate the two. It's like, now you're doing business, man. Now you're in corporate meetings. Now you got big sponsors. Now you representing. So now, you know, you need to turn into a WWF wrestling type of dude. You could pop junk, let everybody know it's entertainment, and this is what it is, right? But the thing that's not happening is that they don't know when to turn it off. You know what I'm saying? They don't realize that there's a separation now between what you was doing in the streets and what now is a legit business for you. And then some people are doing it backwards. And this is where a lot of the problem happened. Most people that were really in the streets putting in work, if you got an opportunity to be legit, you're not going to be doing no dumb shit. Excuse my language. Can I talk like that on here?
This is chop it up, baby. You can say whatever you want to say.
All right. So, you know, they're not going to be doing dumb shit like that if they know they done got out of that dumb shit. They done did prison time. They done been in the streets, and you know now you could get you could open up your bank accounts. You got places to put your money legally. Like, you don't have to go through all that BS that you was going through when you was in the streets. So most of the people that were really, really doing it like that in the streets, once they get to, you know, a place that they're making us legal, legit money, they trying to find a way how to you know, sidestep beefs and stuff like that anyway, right? But a lot of cats, they trying to live up to this persona. They may have grew up in the suburbs and talking about, yo, I grew up in the hood. It was mad rough, kid, da-da-da-da. Because they feel like this is the only way they're going to make it or be, you know, respected or certified, right? And then they start imitating. They start imitating something that they've never been a part of. And then you're going to make a lot of big mistakes while you're doing that, man. You're going to make a lot of big mistakes while you're doing that. Now, you know, I don't like to, like, with Pop Smoke, man, that it hurts, because I'm like, man, if he had the right people around him, if he had the right people around him, right, I think that some right older, like, if you look at with Snoop and them, but Snoop always kept Uncle June around him. He kept, you know, the older cats, Magic Don Juan, and, you know, people look at it like, oh, he just like to hang around pimps and that. Nah, these dudes were spitting jewels in his ear, man. But trust me, when he started coming up with, some, Nikki said, what's the documentary? It's called Killing Beef. So
right on the shirt.
Yeah.
Find out Revolt TV right now, right? Samson?
Yeah, it's on Revolt. But next year it's going to be worldwide, and I'll make the announcement, and it's going to be all over the place, you know?
That's what's up.
So, you know, when like with Pop Smoke, you know, if he had the right guidance, right, OG around him, they would have let him know, like, yo, look, all that pride aside, man, when you come into a new town, especially with LA, and not saying that this is, I don't want to just like say like this is all Pop Smoke's fault, because he didn't know better.
Yeah, did he check in?
You got to check in. Man.
You got to check in.
And it's like put the pride to the side or whatever.
And Samson, Samson, explain to some of the people, because we know the street stuff. So explain to people what checking in is.
So the check-in is like just showing respect to the cats that's running those areas, especially if they're gang related or whatever, or even if it's not that. If you don't have the street connect, you have to connect to somebody that has that street connect. You can't just be out there juried up or like, yo, F these LA cats or whatever. I'm out here, I'm me and da da da. You have to, and I'm saying me without being a rap dude. I got a brother that lives out there in I have a brother that live out there in Cali, and whenever I go out there, I used to go out there often, a whole lot, and I had little crews that as soon as I come out there, I hit them up. Yo, I'm in town, man. Yo, I knew I was gonna travel with them for more than one reason. One, they know where the safe zone's at.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they know people, so I'm gonna get to know people. They're going to associate me with these people. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing I always did, then I used to have long hair, whatever. I always went to the beauty shop. The dopest beauty shop out, that's where I would go sit, because I knew these fly girls are going to come in. These fly girls talk to the fly dudes. The fly dudes are the one that's the shot callers. And I'm going to get to know who I need to get to know so that I know how to maneuver when I'm in that place. Brooklyn, we have a tendency, and I'm telling you, man, when I was in Japan, I ran into somebody from Brooklyn. You're going to run into Brooklyn cats everywhere.
Facts.
And one thing about us, it's like, man, we don't care. I'm going whatever, and I'm going to be me, wherever. You go to Baltimore, you're going to see some Brooklyn. Anywhere, you're going to see some Brooklyn dudes. And some know how to carry it, and some don't. And I say Pop Smoke was young. He was only, what, 20, 21?
Something like that. Baby,
you know what I'm saying?
Baby, man.
Life, like me at 20, I was getting paper and hustling out of town. I didn't wait. It wasn't a rap record or something that put jewels and money and stuff in my pocket. I was going out to get it. So I learned young how to act in certain places or whatever. And then when I got to Cali, it was a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? Because those brothers, their gang thing is a little more organized than what we have here, like all over the place or whatever. Like you go some certain places there to even do construction, you're not gonna finish that job until a few people get hired. Magic Johnson will tell you when he was building his movie theater out there, Crip stepped to him like, yo, partner, I know you want to LA, you purple, I know you purple and yellow and all that. But you got to check in. You got to put some people to work. Like you can't just. And he had to hire people on the spot. Like that's just what it is. That's the culture. So I'm not saying that's the reason why he got murdered, but I know if he had some type of guidance. That's why it's up to us, man, black men, to step up and to garner the respect from these youngsters, because a lot of young cats, man, they old head, like. You be called old head or something like it's disrespectful, or you being disrespected for being wise enough to live some years. What you want to die dirty?
Samson, do you think it's because a lot of the young brothers grew up around men that they don't listen to older cats like us that have been around the block a few times? Do you think it's that's causing them? Because it seems like you and I both work with young people. Samson and I do business together. He helps out with a lot of young people in some of the programs that we run. He also teaches camera work and all that stuff like that, production. So this guy's a genius. So
thanks,
do you think? I'll give you the check later on for that, man. Do you think when you and I get a one-on-one, it's a different story. But do you think it's because they're not around men? They try to show out in front of their friends why they want to get the jewels that we spit to them? Do you think the father figure missing, or what is it?
I think it's a number of things, man. I think first of all, I think them being misguided by the older brothers, especially that gang mentality. You got somebody 17, they talking about their OG is 23, 24.
Jesus. That was a selfish error on us. That was a very
because up until then, I remember coming up, you know, it wasn't. I remember when there were men in the neighborhood that, you know, you just gave respect. They was older. You know what I'm saying? You respect Miss Green if she's coming in the hallway and you smoking a blunt, even if she smell it. You like, maybe, hey, how you doing, Miss Green? And hold it in. And if she's standing there talking to you for a while, you're like, ah, man, like, come on, Miss Green, here, let me help you in the elevator. She may laugh or whatever. She know what but you show them respect. Now, cats will be like, hey, Candy. Nah, that ain't Candy. Her name Miss Green. B. Like, she old enough to be your mom. What are you talking about, Candy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so all of that is gone. Like, to this day, my elders are still Mr. and Mrs. to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's just something I hold. And another thing is that a lot of the older brothers, they scared to check these younger dudes, man, because they're like, yo, these dudes ain't, you know. And I know I was a young dude that was wild at one time too, but you know, we're not approaching these young brothers like that, man. Like I remember one time I was on the train and these young dudes were just out of order. There's like a lot of white people and stuff around, and they using the N-word like crazy loud and just cursing and, you know, just being like crazy, right? So I couldn't take it anymore. So, you know, but I went to them with respect. I said, yo, that's my nephew over there. Yo, Ty, that's you? And he looked, and I said, yo, you look just like my nephew, man. I said, I was ready to say, yo, I know my nephew ain't on this train wilding like this, B. And he was like, and then I started getting at him from there. Like, yo, man, you got these people looking at you, da-da-da, we got to represent, da-da. They calmed it down. And at the end, you know, they gave me that and got off it. Nah, you right, man. You right, man. And got off. That's missing. We don't even, like, approach these younger cats and try to get them jewels. And then another thing too, we don't have stuff for them to look up to, man. They like, I'm not listening to no broke dude that's washed out. Now you come through and you looking flossy and you chilling, you can have the greatest band ever. They gonna listen to you, and that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? So you know that part right there is what we have to fix amongst ourselves, man. Like. We are too disconnected with each other. Like there's no men group that really get men together to like start strategizing on, yo, what we gonna do with these communities, man? What resources that you have that I could, you know, use and that we can make this work over here and over there and over there. Until we come together as men to do that, women they carrying the load right now. They doing the best they can. They doing a great job. But they can't do a complete job. They can't make the whole turnaround, man, without us. And until we step up and put ourselves in that, simply like what you're doing with the kids, that you may not know, the difference in a child that you or one of the young ones that you will make, just maybe from a conversation that you don't even know, that you ain't even paying attention to, that may save somebody's life because you're interacting with them on a regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that happens all the time, man. I mean, they call me Unc. You know, right. A lot of my old students call me Dad and all kind of stuff, man. So it's like
we have to do that, man. Like, we as black men, we have to step up. We can't wait. The black woman been doing it, man. She been doing it.
They've been holding us down. The thing is, like I tell people all the time, when you go down Eastern Parkway, you always see the Jewish man leading the family to whatever they're going to. So we got to start doing that, like how we grew up back in the day. We got to start becoming those leaders again. You know, and carry our women, because our women right now is carrying us. They carrying shit. They carrying the damn country right now.
They're carrying the generations. Generation on their back, man.
Yeah, man. So they counting on the black women right now in Georgia to bring this vote across. So you know, how it is. So you know, so we got to do a better job at that. And I hope the young brothers that they see this, that they understand, like we are here for you. Like I always approach, like you said, Samson, is the way you approach the young people. Because with me, young people, I tell them I can meet them, they could be calling each other nigga, but I would never call them nigga. I would say my brother, whatever, because it's a different approach. When I could go to any thug-looking dude and say, and I come with that brother approach and different, they're going to listen. Because I'm not, like, when you say call each other nigga like that in the street, it's a different kind of feel. Like, I don't have no love for that nigga, But I say my brother is a different.
Right.
It's way kind of love
and you being an elder, if you like my nigga, you putting yourself on their level.
Yeah.
They want to learn from you. They want to learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They want to be in check. So that they want to know, yo, chill, man. Here comes Samson, man. He be on that bullshit. But they want that. They want the exercise.
They want it.
Like, you know.
I tell old people when I go speaking to kids and stuff, they always want structure. Who doesn't want it? Who don't want to be guided right? They know they seen their homeboy die young. They all want that. They want that. It's just how I approach to getting it to them. And then sometimes they'll come on the side. That the ones that really want it, they be the most thugged out ones. They'll come to the side. Come down. I see them coming to my office. Little Jules. Yo, what's that book you told me to read? Blah, 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 blah. And that's how it goes. And we just got to get back to that. And I think we can start saving our youth, you know. And like you said,
well, let me ask you this question. Let me ask this question. And after hearing you, this may be somewhat rhetorical, but I had this debate in seminary with a young lady. So, Samson, if you could only help one group, young black men or young black women, if you could only help one of those groups, who would you help?
Young black men, because they need it the most.
And obviously it would have more of an effect on the other if you help young black men. Got you.
Black women, they have support systems. They more united than we are, even though some of them may not think so, but I'm on the outside looking in. They got their sisterhood. They'll get together and, you know, like, fuck that nigga together. And be like, you know, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. We very separated, right? And the black young men need to see strength. They need to see black men with strength. And I don't mean like, oh, you running the block type of strength. They need to see you with your head up high, man. They need to see you carrying yourself, you know, dressed a certain way. They need to see you articulating yourself in a certain manner. They need to see that grown man shit to emulate.
They need to size themselves up, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're shorty, you need to size yourself up against the old man.
Right.
You know?
That's why I want to be like, oh, yo, I dig how he moved right there. You see how he just shut that down with 3 words? And how you treat your woman. They watching that. Right? So that's why, like, I made it a point, and D knows I made it a point to always put my wife out there and to show the respect and love that I have for her family, how I treat her, because I wanted to show, like, yo, it's cool. You need to treat a woman like a queen, B, because what she is a reflection of you. So if she's out there acting a certain way, and I'm just like, yo, that's his what? That's his woman? That's his ways right there? Now I'm looking at you funny. Because, yo, this is what you allowing. This is how you rock out. So now that may determine if I'm going to do business with you or not. If your woman is out of line, I can't do business with you because I know you're not too stable. You could say yes today, but she running things. So if
keep your life in order.
If she don't like it, it's not going to go down. And see, these young men need to know that. They need to understand that. And I don't care what women say around each other. They know they want a strong man that's going to be disciplined and put shit in order. Not saying they want somebody that's like, you know, that's ruling with an iron fist, but they want a man that they know that they're going to be secure, that's going to stand on his word, that's going to be strong, firm, what he says he means, and that's going to guide them in the right way, and that can play the part of the man in the family. You know, so these young boys, they need to see that. So, you know, I try to show that with the relationship with me and my wife and just me and my daughter, or whatever women I'm involved with, you know, relationship, cousins, aunts, or whatever. They see that the respect that they give me as a man and the respect in return I give them as a woman. And if you need to be disrespectful, Duke, you don't need that. Another thing is like, yo, to pull them up, yo, Duke, everything that looks good ain't you know, it ain't gold. You looking at that woman right there, you know, she got body and all that, but she messing with mad dudes, and you cool. I understand that. I was young too. You may want to tap that, but is that somebody you want to have a baby by? Nah, I don't. So, Duke, that could possibly happen. With a condom on, B, it could happen. This is stuff that we need to. So even if they do it afterwards and something happens, they think, yo, the OG told me too, man. he told me this. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta constantly give them jewels, man. The stuff that we know that could go a long way. Like we just have to be more involved with the young people in the community, man.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
Absolutely.
Samson, like listen, bro. He dropped a lot of jewels today, man. A lot of jewels. A lot of people keep seeing things like and texting like, "Where can we find you at? Where can we find Samson at?" So Samson, tell him we can find Killing Beef. We can find Samson Styles. Tell them what all the stuff you're doing in the community, all everything. I want to give the people everything.
Wow, man. Well, Killing Beef is right now it's on Revolt. So I don't know if you're going to Revolt on demand or whatever. You may be able to see it. If it's not on there, I have to. Being I'm in the middle of this new deal, it will be airing again in February and throughout. They're gonna have it as a marquee piece for Black History Month. So that's dope. But if you want to see the trailer, just hit Killing Beef, Samson Styles, and it'll pop up, and you can see the trailer and at least see what it's going to be about. You can see me on IG, the Samson Styles. I don't be on Twitter that much. I'm gonna start being more active on there. I also have there's a film that I'm in right now that's on Epics on Demand. If you go to Joe's War, I act as well, and I play a young a young Marine, and that
listen. I'm watching this thing right, and this is my man, and I know his age. I'm like, how is he the young Marine? He's older than everybody in the cast.
Yo, check this out, right?
Right.
Yo, when we had to do the scene where it was a basic training scene, and we had to climb over the 40-foot wall. Man, these dudes have a hard time. They had to fake, and we had to do the scene maybe 20, 30 times. Me and my man, we getting over the rope getting over the wall every time, no help. So I was like 44 then when we did that, right? So when the young cats, when they found out how old I was, they was like, what? 44? Yo, if I knew that, I would have made sure I got over that.
Yo, Samson's in good shape, man. That dude, I was cracking up, man. Every time I see that, I was dying laughing. This dude Samson's older than everybody, and he's in better shape. So Samson, man, listen, brother, I appreciate you, man. You know how much love I got for you, brother, man. That this was great, man. A lot of people, and what you said about Black men and leaders, I see all the women chatting in. That just goes to show you they want us to be strong.
Yeah, man.
They gotta be tired. We gotta hold that shield up and let them lean on our shield now. So we truly appreciate brothers like you in the community, man, and the fight and the jewels that you keep dropping to the young people. Don't stop being you, my brother. I love you to death.
I love you too, man.
Word up, man.
All right, Kelvin.
Peace. Tell your wife what's up. Tell your wife I said what's up, brother. Tell your wife what's up, man. All right, man. All right, man. All right. Peace, brother.